Most people already know about the Epstein files by now. They know his name, they know the scandal, and they know that he died in custody in 2019. That part of the story is everywhere. But what very few people know is how deep this case actually goes, how many questions were never answered, and how much information quietly disappeared the moment it became uncomfortable. This video is not about repeating what everyone already knows. It's about the parts most people never stopped to question.
As most people are aware, Jeffrey Epstein was arrested in July 2019 on federal charges related to sex trafficking. He was held at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York. A month later, he was found dead in his cell. The official ruling concluded that he died by suicide. That is the commonly accepted version of events. But the moment that conclusion was announced, something unusual happened. Instead of clarity, the case generated more questions than answers. The cameras near his cell malfunctioned. The guards assigned to check on him failed to do so as scheduled. Key evidence was lost or corrupted. And no one above a certain level of authority faced lasting consequences. Each issue on its own might seem like negligence. Together, they form a pattern. And patterns are where investigations truly begin. What made Epstein different from countless other high-profile criminals was not just the scale of his crimes, but the scale of his connections. Epstein moved comfortably among politicians, royalty, financiers, academics, and media figures. He didn't just have access to power, he operated inside it. And that raises a disturbing question. Who was Epstein really working for, if anyone at all? Financial records showed massive, unexplained wealth. His lifestyle didn't align with any clearly defined business model. He had influence without transparency, protection without accountability, and access without explanation. For years, this went largely unquestioned, until it couldn't be ignored anymore. When documents began surfacing, they didn't just expose individuals, they exposed systems. Legal systems that moved slowly, media systems that chose silence, and power structures that protected themselves first. Names appeared in court documents, but appearing in documents is not the same as being proven guilty, and that distinction matters. This case is not about declaring verdicts. It's about understanding how influence works when it operates above scrutiny. One of the most overlooked aspects of the Epstein case is how quickly public attention was redirected. The news cycle moved on, the outrage faded, and the deeper questions were never fully pursued. Why was Epstein given such unusual privileges earlier in his legal history? Why were certain investigations delayed or limited? Why were victims repeatedly silenced through settlements and non-disclosure agreements? These are not conspiracy theories. These are documented procedural choices. And when powerful people are involved, procedure becomes the most effective shield. Not force, not threats, but paperwork, delays, and silence. The Epstein files don't just represent a criminal case, they represent a test of whether truth can survive proximity to power, a test of whether accountability applies equally, and a test of how much the public is willing to forget once the headlines disappear. History shows us something uncomfortable. Scandals involving power rarely end with justice. They end with exhaustion. People get tired, attention fades, and the system resets without changing. That's the real danger. Not what Epstein did, but what his case revealed about the world around him. Because when crimes reach a certain level of influence, they stop being treated as crimes. They become liabilities to manage. And once that happens, truth becomes optional. So the Epstein files aren't just about one man, or one prison cell, or one ruling. They're about what happens when power is strong enough to outlast outrage. And that's the part of the story most people never hear.